And we're back. So the most important thing,
As I bang my head into the microphone.
the ultimate thing, the lesson I would have for Bethesda about like when is it they will be able to bridge the gap between the super serious gaminess of the games they make and like maybe something that's a little bit more wink and a nod to what it is to be a video game is they need to make the Eric the Viking video game.
Holy Grail. We're done. Anybody remember the Holy Grail CD-ROM game?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
All I remember is the San Diego Zoo on my single-speed CD-ROM.
You click on it, and then a very grainy video would play in some sort of door that would open, or window, or conveniently placed framing element.
Yeah, it was like the first.
Anything
The
to make
first,
the video not full screen.
Yeah, it was like the first version of was it Macro Media?
Yeah, it was all that
Director?
mist
Was it
crap.
Director? And it would just the door would open, like video about yay big. It was like a postage stamp, and then the rest was just.
You remember Mist? It just was little boxes of.
No, Myst is on 3DS now.
I'm sure it is. But you remember the video quality was always like 2-color. Oh, so good, so good. One brother was red, one brother was blue. It was good stuff.
Red versus blue forever. What were we talking about again?
The Holy Grail.
All right,
Damn
tell me about your little indie game that you played.
Oh, I wanted to. There was something great I thought to talk about, and I lost my train of thought.
And then you drank a lot of beer.
Tell me about your cube.
Where did you get this game? Do I own this game?
Steam. It was $12.
$12. That's like a fortune. You know what you can buy for $12?
By the way,
Steam?
the Ludum Dare results came out. I don't think we played any of those games.
No, you didn't.
Which we really should have. I am happy that Notch didn't win though.
I thought he didn't win a long time ago. I thought that those results came out and he placed 12th a long time.
No, man, he was back in Code A.
They do
this
those,
is the Code S.
those, they
dude.
do that's like once every 6 months they do the competition.
If the dev time is what 48 hours,
Yeah.
you have that competition
Let's
like
do it every week. Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll see if we can play some of the winners. And see
I say
how
screw
we
that.
feel
We're
about
gonna
it.
make a game. It'd be awesome.
All right, there you go. 48 hours.
Cole,
We're gonna make a game called Jameson the Cat.
Cole, we had an argument.
Shit.
Okay, so Cube is $12. Which I would say anybody who likes what I'm about to say in how I describe it should spend the $12. Cubes is an acronym. It stands for Quick Understanding of Block Extraction, if I remember correctly. And it's Portal.
It's a Minecraft add-on?
Looks like Portal. First-person shooter.
It's a first-person puzzle game.
Yeah.
Where instead of having a portal gun with in and outbound portals, you have 2 gloves, and the gloves allow you to control certain colored blocks in certain ways, and one block will, or like your main fire will be one hand making the block interact in one way, and your alt fire will be the other hand making the block do the opposite of what it just did. So
It's built in Source.
Huh?
It's built in Source.
No, this is built in the Unreal Engine.
I was gonna say for $12, it better not be in Source.
No, this is
If
in
it's a Source game, it better be like 3.
This is in the Unreal Engine under the license of unless you make a lot of money, you don't have to pay us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes
using
sense.
the Unreal SDK. So, the game is a very interesting art style. Like, it's even more sparse.
But everything's really shiny because it's the Unreal Engine.
No, not at all. It's everything is these like really like insane asylum padded wall, white rooms. It has no. So far, it doesn't really have like a plot. Like even less of like way less of a plot than Portal had, because Portal from the very get-go had the narrator, had GLaDOS like instructing you and telling you stuff. This game does not give you any tutorial. It tells you nothing. Like, you need to know how to play a fucking video game to play this game. Because unless you're going to, like, know that space jumps and you need to right and left click, like, you can't play this game. There is no tutorial. Like, the puzzle difficulty, like, ramps up, but it's from the get-go, like, you need to know that you right and left click. There's no prompts that say, like, do this or do that. Like, you just have to figure it out. Like video games should be. because I'm an old man. That's how I feel video games should be. So
It's okay if what you're expected to do is right and left click and space bar, but as soon as you start working in a little of the old WASD as setup keys, then it's out the window, huh?
no, that's how you move,
Oh.
doofus. Yeah.
No, I just mean like like hotkeys. and
Doofus,
shit.
really?
Yeah.
I'm a
There are no.
doofus.
Oh no, you meant for like StarCraft style. Yes. No, you use WASD to move.
It looks okay.
There is
Well,
no.
I mean,
as
on
far as
my
I can tell,
phone
there is no
anyway.
crouch. So it's very Spartan. There's no plot, and
It's a puzzle game.
Puzzles are very experimental.
First-person puzzle game.
Yeah, but it's got. See, here's the problem when I say it has no plot, is that if it were.
It's secretly about gender identity.
If it was just a puzzle game and that was it, like the form of a puzzle game would be a grid of levels and you choose a level and then like it begins and it ends. This game starts with like you going down an elevator, like laying on the ground with like looking at your hands while you're on the ground. And then you stand up and start playing the game, and there are no loading screens, and you're constantly moving forward. Like, so there's no level select, there's no there's nothing that breaks you out of it to make you think these are discrete puzzles. Like there was an indie game, I think it's called like Clockworks, and that game is like the Rubik, like a sequence of different Rubik's cubes with like a slightly different dynamics to them that you go to. Like that's just like a puzzle game with nothing to it. Like you have hands, you're a character. Like there's some narrative going on. There's something going on.
But you don't know what that is.
But you don't know what that is. So when I say it has no plot, that's different from Solitaire for Windows has no plot. It could have a plot. It just doesn't. Not yet. And so from the way the game and the achievements communicate stuff to you, I think I'm about halfway done. I'm either halfway done or haven't it all started. But it's one of those two things.
So you
$12?
Yes.
having fun.
Oh no, it's fantastic. It's super awesome because if you like the puzzle solving aspects of Portal, this game is worth $12. If you like the aesthetics and the puzzle solving aspects of Portal, this indie game is worth $12.
Most importantly, how does it stack up against DC Universe Online?
Yo, I heard that the Riddler
Well,
getting nerfed.
DC Universe Online, coincidentally, just introduced crafting. So if you want to make stuff,
What can the chat tell
Can
us?
you make underpants that you put on top of your
can we
pants?
Skype in an authority on DC Universe?
I'm not sure how far behind the chat is tonight. So
Okay.
we'll see if something pops up.
But no, it was really good. I mean, I started watching videos of it, and I was just like, how much is
How
this game on
did
Steam?
you kind of get into this? Like, where did you see a video?
Giant Bomb?
Oh, okay. So
And
they had a quick
This
look?
game was
Because
this
it's
game was on sale just recently.
No, it's on
Literally.
sale right now. It's normally $15.
Okay.
but
Yeah, I
it's
think it
12
just
something.
came out on Steam.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing: is I started watching the quick look on Giant Bomb, and it was and because it's a puzzle game, it was the sort of game where very quickly into the quick look, I realized I wanted to stop watching the quick look and just buy it, because to
Yeah.
watch the quick look is to have the puzzles spoiled for you. So I watched it and I was like, all right, wait, let me pause this and go look and see how much it is. All right, it's $12. Fuck it, I'll just buy it.
And all I can see on the chat is, damn it, I missed my DC Universe moment.
So from Steam, I wanted to bring this up because I think it's a harbinger. A harbinger. Did you see Age of Empires 3 came to Steam?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Why is that important?
Well, I'll say this to you. Did you see that Demigod came to Steam?
That was a long time ago, and we already knew
That was
that.
during
Since the
Christmas,
Solar
yeah.
Empire and Gal Civ already came, so that was just in the middle. Point being, what is the difference between Age of Empires 3?
That was
Don't even
originally
try and
Microsoft
answer.
published.
Yeah, don't even try and
It's
answer.
continually published by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So that means Microsoft Giving up the ghost.
Hope no.
No,
Don't
but
say that yet.
Yes, but remember,
They're just looking for an alternative revenue stream.
I believe Age of Empires is also by Robot Entertainment, the people that
No.
made
That's Age of Empires Online. This is actual Age of Empires. This is the real RTS.
Yeah, this is the real game, not the online like light
Not
Age
the,
of Empires.
You are an Egyptian.
Yes,
You
the
know.
one that was supposed to like be the
Microsoft's
killer app
attempt
for-
at free to play.
yes, the
Yeah.
killer app for
This
the
is
relaunch of games
yeah.
for Windows.
So this is the equivalent in my mind of like I don't want to go too far on this, but the fact that this popped up on Steam means that like Halo ain't that far behind, man. Things that are the blood seal has been broken.
Well, I would say this, Charlie, is that Halo ain't that far behind, except they haven't released the last 3 Halo games.
I was
going
gonna say to
so.
Halos is not coming.
Did
to
Halo
Steam.
2 ever even come out on the PC?
No,
Yes, it did.
oh, that's right. Actually, it did as some sort of.
That was the Vista. That was the Vista Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
That was the Dragon Shout of Vista.
Yeah, that was like the DirectX 9 game, if I remember correctly. The one that they demoed Vista was going to be DirectX.
Yeah, but if you count Halo Anniversary Edition, we have had 4 Halo games come out, that none of which are available.
No. What I'm saying is, PC published Microsoft games that have up until this point not been available on Steam. I would say that if you ask the community what game they wanted most, it'd probably be Age of Empires because it's such a classic game.
Do you now, when you buy and play that, does Games for Windows Live get installed?
I
Like
don't
other-
think
like
that's.
other games
I
on
don't
Games
think
for
that's a
Windows
game
Live.
for. I don't think that's actually a game for
It
Windows Live.
predates.
And that's
Remember,
part of the
Age of
reason-
Empires 3 predates games for Windows.
I think that's part of the reason why they can just easily throw it on Steam, because it's not a game.
Yeah, why
for
not do
Windows
it?
Game. But I mean, they already have Games for Windows Live games on Steam. But
I would.
I don't know.
I would. So, Charlie,
I'm not going to
I
buy
see
it
what-
anyway. So it
I see
doesn't
what you're
matter.
getting at, but
I'm just saying I'm pointing out something that I thought was crazy. Like, that was not a
It is
game I
a little
expected
odd.
to show up on Steam.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But unless Microsoft spent $1 or more on promoting the fact it was on Steam, then I don't think it's a big
Sold
deal.
really well.
Yeah, but if
And they're selling
yeah,
it
but-
for a chunk of change. They're
Yeah,
selling it for $40.
Yeah, but if you go to Microsoft.com and it says buy Age of Empires 3 on Steam, then that means something different than Microsoft published it on Steam and like let Steam promote it.
Yeah,
and
I
sell
think
it to
I
their
think
customers.
what really happened is a lot of publishers looked at the Skyrim numbers and they were like, "Oh, fuck."
Well, also reported was Steam is up 100%.
Yes, 7 years in a row.
Yeah. They're up
That-
100%.
don't forget that part. They have improved 100% 7 years in a row.
So, cool. All right. Yay, those guys.
News. There we go. Done.
Yeah. So I didn't play Skyrim.
What'd you play?
I didn't play any
We
Skyrim.
spent the whole first half talking about Skyrim, didn't
Yeah,
we?
I didn't play any Skyrim at all. And also,
Skyrim, great way to totally not pay attention to your wife or girlfriend. Like tell them to come get you when dinner's ready.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, yes.
For the internet, my wife just yelled "yup" from the other room.
It's a great way to wake up late for work and poorly rested.
This morning, I was a complete wreck.
Reduce productivity in other ways. I maybe don't do dishes. I mean, you could do dishes, or you could pick up dishes in a dwarven ruin.
No, be very careful not to pick up dishes. In fact, if I pick up a dish by accident, I get real angry.
Yeah, you know the problem is that oh god, Skyrim is so crazy. So that all the stupid crap in the dwarven mines, if you pick that stuff up, you can smelt it at one of the smelters.
Yeah, almost all of it. Yeah.
Which I didn't
You who
realize.
smelt
I was
it
like,
and dealt it.
oh.
But I'm not worried about dwarven armor. I'm straight dragon armor. That's what I'm gearing up for.
Except, do you need to unlock all the other perks to get to that? Like, I'm so far behind on blacksmithing.
No, I'm not that far. I mean, I've got like 8 Daedra hearts now. So if I unlock that first, I'll make a whole bunch of Daedra armor. But my goal is dragon armor because I'm gonna be the Dragonborn who was born of dragons and then killed the shit out of them.
Is that the best armor?
I don't know. I just hope it looks cool. I haven't spoiled it for myself
Okay.
yet. I don't even know what
Not
it
looking
looks
at
like.
stats. So one thing I wanted to say that I thought of is that what the next Fallout game really needs.
Oh shit! Apparently, Dragon Armor rules, and it makes you look like King Diamond.
Oh.
Now I'm really
all
excited.
right.
Can I buy this game from my phone? Because Abigail is calling.
The next Fallout game, seriously, like they should
Apparently, it's the best armor too.
they should put in the alchemy mechanic into a Fallout game, but on your
Which is Nuka-Cola.
on your Pip-Boy, have there be a tab that's go to the wiki about alchemy, just to get the whole alt tabbing out of the game, like out of there. Like that's the point.
Oh, just to have
Once
it
again, when we
built
say it's
into
a
the
game, you could painstakingly, arbitrarily try to craft the thousands
You
of
can find- you
ingredients
can
find-
into potions.
but you can also
Or it's
find-
any game since like frickin' Ultima.
You can also find books that have recipes.
Mhm.
That's RPG.
Yeah, I found a recipe
That's
for
not-
something I would
that's
never want in
not
a million years.
reinvented. And well, it used to be that games came with giant tomes of bullshit that you read, and then they realized that they could save trees.
Abigail!
There you go. Welcome from the sanitarium, baby.
Charlie,
So,
you should really buy Skyrim.
no, man.
He's gonna
what
buy
I'm
it.
getting, what I'm
He's
getting
gonna buy
to-
it when it's like $5.
What I'm getting to here,
Game of the Charlie edition.
I've been continuing to grind away at the league, and I've become a legend in my own mind.
So you're level 30 now?
No, but I didn't learn some stuff, and we bring this back to Noob's Corner. This was an old
Our segment.
old segment, because I think what I learned about this game is actually pretty useful advice, especially to someone who may be at the level that you guys are at, or was at the level I was at just 1 week ago. And if I'm going to pose to you a question that I know you don't have the answer for,
Okay.
and this is just to illustrate that I don't think you guys have the answer, because who could know this knowledge?
All right.
And
I'll do my best.
All right.
Being the straight man.
So you're playing a game of League of Legends, and you select a character. Doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
Which lane do you go in?
I pick Warwick. I'm going in the jungle.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't pick a lane. I would either jungle based on my character or go to any lane. I would say that because I don't, in my mind, strong characters go mid, but I, even with the strong character, don't feel good about my play, so I would never choose mid, so I'll just go top, bottom, whatever.
Okay. So
I call something
when
and
you
if
sit
people
there,
tell me not to.
a question I had is, when someone might say to you in an uncouth manner, get out of that lane, go to your lane, it makes you kind of ask this question:
What is
What
my
is
lane?
my lane?
what the hell lane am I supposed to be in?
Okay.
In a high, crazy voice like that. What I found out is there is a rhyme to the reason. I don't know who figured this out.
Can I ask a question before you explain this? So is mid always soloed? Is mid ever not soloed?
No.
Mid is a solo lane.
But
Mid
it's
is
not
a solo.
all-
You
but
are
it-
correct.
But
in
it
that.
is not always soloed.
In League,
Should
primarily,
is.
it's going to be soloed. In League, it's primarily soloed.
Unless you're watching a comp match, which they do crazy shit.
Well, because couldn't you surprise if the common knowledge is it's always soloed, then couldn't you surprise?
But you wouldn't
Your opponent
benefit.
by
The what I'm going to get to, and this is why this was very confusing, because this is not very explicit. It's also very key. Like, what I'm kind of understanding is there is the scrub layer, there is the middle layer, and then there's the like Gosu layer that's above all. The
Okay.
people up at the top, they can do anything they want. They can jungle. They can all be junglers. Jungling they can somehow, basically they just fly around the map somehow and kill all the towers, and then in the middle they all start doing crazy
Well, yeah,
stuff.
but that's your classic. That's
That's-
your classic
yeah.
level of only break rules when you understand. Only break norms
Right.
when you understand why you're breaking
Right,
them.
right, exactly. Then there's people who have no idea what they're doing at the bottom. We aren't concerned with them.
Okay.
What we're concerned with is that big fat middle range.
Sorry. The internet wants to know if we're talking about the OSI layers.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them.
It's always a level 1 problem. Jiggle the cable.
So that
always-
middle
always the cable.
tier, that like sort of, all right. For example, if we make an entertaining analogy in Team Fortress, when when you were playing with people and they started just instinctively doing things like, if you're going to give the Uber to somebody, don't give it to the scout. Give it to a soldier.
Give it to a different meta.
Give it to a demo man. Give it to a heavy. But for the love of God, don't give it to a sniper. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing where it's there is a, like, oh, you're taking a teleporter. Who takes the teleporter? Not you, scout. Not you, soldier. Let the heavy take it because he's slow. You know, stuff like that. And that all this stuff kind of comes from a rationale. And so the way that the lanes work is, and I'm going to focus mainly on the bottom lane because that's what I put most time into. Is
Sure, and frankly, I think it's crazy that the bottom lane and the top lane are in any way considered different.
Okay, well, when you see this, the logic actually makes a lot of sense. So you've got your mid. Your mid is typically a strong AP character, a strong AD character. But
that's
typically
attack,
they're going to
damage,
be
and
they're
ability
going to be a
points.
ranged character. So
Okay.
think that the standard makeup is going to be 3 range, melee, and a support. That melee is likely going to be your jungler. Likely. The top lane is going to be a tank. Why is he going to be a tank? Because his ass is going to be by himself because his lane partner is going to be running around the jungle. Why does that benefit? Well, that means that the guy who's in solo top, he's going to get all that farm from all those minions. So he's going to get all his money. The guy in the jungle is going to get all his money from the jungle. The guy in the mid is going to get all his money from the mid. And all 3 of those people are going to get a lot of money. They're each going to have a dedicated source for farm, which the way the game is won is by money. Like, everybody could eventually get to level 18.
Man, I really wish Charlie was into Dota 2.
Well, maybe. So those are the, you know, the tiers on that idea is like, you got to get money to win the game. People who just level up, they only get so far. So that bottom lane, what happens in the bottom lane? Well, you end up with it's all about your build, and you end up with a support, and you end up with your true AD carry, because that guy's not going to buy shit for defense. What he's going to do is just make that balls out min-max damage dealer. So Ashe, Graves, Caitlyn, like characters that do pour out the damage. But if they're pouring out the damage, they're basically useless. Like, they can't spend money on wards. They can't spend money on basically they can spend some money on some heal pots, and that's about it.
That's why you need a support running around, warding
Right.
up everything.
Your support hangs in your bottom lane. So it goes top tank, jungler, mid, bottom lane is heavy damage dealer and heavy supporter. Now, you know about last hitting.
Yep.
This is key to the game. Like, last hitting is like, if you can't last hit, uninstall. Screw it. Just, I mean, actually,
if you can't
okay, I'll
last
get
it,
that when I get
no,
home.
if you
well,
can't-
actually, let me amend that. If you do not grasp or have a patience for last hitting, you're going to have a very hard time playing this game. But you can play support because, in fact, the support should never last hit. They should take none of that money because all that money has to go.
Well, how do they get experience then?
They get
Get
experience
ladder.
because they're standing there.
Yeah, if you're around when a minion dies, you get experience.
Oh,
So,
really?
So
So you
you're
need to be
getting
within
so
a certain
the
radius.
AD is getting all the last hits. You're keeping his ass alive, and you're getting all the XP. And then what little money you have, you dump into support items and wards, and that relationship is pretty cool.
Actually, Charlie, you basically have Dota 2 down. Like,
Yeah.
just by your description. Like, because everything translates so well from League into Dota.
Mm-hmm.
That because they're
So
what are the same game.
Like, what are the wards that someone might buy? Is there just the one ward that lets you see?
There's 2 sight wards. There's one that is see some stuff, and then there's see some invisible stuff. See some invisible stuff doesn't seem like it's that useful because their stealth mechanic
See,
kind
some
of
invisible
broken.
stuff does kind of work once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm not quite so sure about League, but it does in Dota too, because you can see the other team's rune.
Oh yeah, that's
a good
example.
So you can damage. You can if you have like a rune, you ruin the one spot and then ruin the other side where the little thing's going to be.
Yeah.
You may be able to see their rune, so you could just kind of send someone around to destroy it. So that will hurt them. So it's got gives and takes.
Yeah. The point being is it's like twice the price.
Yeah.
And early game is when you want it when you're buying these things like desperately. Later on in the game, there's you should have a ton of money or you should just quit. That kind of thing.
Never just quit.
Never GG. So what I found is I've played as and I've kind of it's cool. Like I've gone from a point where people are like, what the hell is this guy doing? I look at my win rate, like, because I spent all that time playing Dominion, like, as per people that I play with, they have like 100, 120 wins. I have like 25. I have 100 wins in Dominion, but I don't have 25. I only have 25 in the classic mode. So, but in a lot of cases, people I get matched up with, some of them are really shitty. They feed like monsters. They get a lot of kills, but basically they're 1-1. I die. I get a kill, but I die. I get a kill, but I die. And they keep doing this.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, that totally screws up the game for everybody else. Because then you end up in a situation where you don't get the kill, but you die. You don't get the kill, but you die, and now you lose. So I've played on that bottom as that AD, and I was like, okay, this works pretty well. You can farm farm a lot. You can get last hits. I mean, Graves is awesome for last hits. Like, seriously, like, if you ever had to go into a group of people and receive amount of money for killing them, you want to bring a shotgun. I think that's pretty much common knowledge. But I haven't played a lot of games where I've actually played with people who are disciplined enough to look at the team makeup and say, I want to play a support. So I was like, let's see what this support is about. So I unlocked the Unicorn Princess, which we all remember, Soraka. Soraka is she's pretty good at what she does, but as a support character, which is what she's built for, awesome. Lots of heal spells. And if you're not responsible for killing people, if you're like, okay, Holmes, you go out and you do the thrashing, I'll keep your ass alive as long as you don't do anything stupid, then I'm going to leave you for dead. You can rack up, like, I had a game where I had like 20 assists, and it's like I got a
and that's how you win games is assists.
Yeah.
Very important.
So like having that bottom lane relationship of, that guy's getting all the money and you're building up. They're like, you're gonna get farmed too. I mean, like, he has to go back to buy stuff. You can last hit then. You as far as I understand in the if you were playing with you were playing with a really tight group, you would say to like your partner and say, yo, I need some more money to get more wards, and they'd be like, go ahead and last hit because we need wards more than I need.
I've seen some play where it's kind of support bottom, ward up through the center there.
Yeah, through the river,
and then jungle the bottom, and it's like it's a timing thing. You got to have a teamwork for this because whoever is jungling at that point would know to swing to the top to kind of leave you stuff so you could jungle your way back down to the bottom lane and then just kind of cycle it back through.
Yeah,
you just do it once in a one.
But so just for the record, there's nothing mechanically about the map that makes it that way. It's just that by convention,
right?
People that
right.
know, if they know to play this way, you can play with strangers, and just if everybody picked a character, like it will
Right.
kind of sort itself out if everybody knows
And that's-
the
Right.
convention.
And that's the big thing is most of the people that you play with don't know, and that's why people get so butthurt.
Exactly. It's a formula for butthurt because, like, actually, Riot does say like, this is a support, this is a tank, this is a carry, you know, and you look and you go, what the hell does this mean? They actually should make this more explicit because it took a long time for me to really grasp this and be like, okay, this is how this works. I'm not even playing games that are operating on that level. I mean, I'm actually at a point now where I have, because I'm not at level 30.
Yeah, you're slowly moving your way to 30.
So in that period, you're going to have people who are going to just now start being like, okay, well, I'm going to go jungle, or or you'll have someone who's like, I'm top, and they'll say like, I want to lane with this dude, and they'll say like, this is why, because I think they complement. It's called synergy or some crap. Like they have a word for it. I mean, synergy is a real word
I was
that
gonna
means
say,
that.
that's not a League of
But they
Legends term.
use that term to describe that, and I'm like, well, is there actually something that's happening because Ashe and Soraka are in lane together? Do they benefit each other some way, or is it just that's the meta term for shit that works well together?
Yeah, Ashe could bust off cross map arrows. That's all that matters.
River arrows is where it's at. So things that you can do though, like once you get this going, is that you have your jungler running around the jungle, and he's like, I'm a little too low level to gank, but I got the blue buff down to like nothing. So I'm gonna say, hey, mid, come to blue buff, and then mid will just walk up, kill the blue buff with the last shot, jump right back into his lane with blue buff, and push his lane on whoever's on mid, and now he's got to contend with this person who's getting a boost in their cooldowns and their mana. So if you organize when you use these buffs, like the jungler can be like, the dealer. He can say like, oh, hey, now do this. Hey, now do that. Or he doesn't just jump out and be like, hey, now I got some knives in your back. You aren't just a gank machine. Like, you can actually
You're
say
primarily a gank machine.
Yeah.
But sometimes you set shit up.
In that early laning, people shouldn't be dying. They should be like, building their build, and then for that, like,
oh no, I like to just go and die right away.
No, you have
first thing.
and that was the thing that I learned.
run
about
right
the game.
into the enemy nexus. So you get killed by
You don't know. You might.
And that was the thing that I picked up about the game
You could
right away when I
maybe.
started playing was you need to be real careful, because if you're dying right away, first, second, third level, even maybe up to 5th, up to 10, you're doing it
Ever.
wrong. Ever. I mean, because you have to know, you have to watch your HP, and you have to know when to back off. Like, sometimes you may even give up a kill, like, because I mean, you may dive past the tower just to get a kill, but you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Sure, it's the 1-to-1 trade-off, and that does take somebody
the nice
out
thing
of the
is,
lane.
like, what you can do is
but-
if you got it, if you really really know what you're doing, is you move in, you kill them, and you die to the tower.
Yeah, because they don't get the experience.
Yeah, tower doesn't.
for
Yeah,
that.
they don't get they
or money.
they aren't going to get the money because
They get experience, but
yeah,
not money.
they don't build their killing streak. They don't get anything. They just die, and then you laugh. So right now, basically the way I'm rolling with this game is start the game, grab some boots, grab a ward, grab a potion, and that's all my early money can afford. And you will go up, and there will be the brush immediately to your right if you're playing bot. I walk up to the brush, and I let whoever I'm playing with walk into the brush and immediately get attacked, and then he walks away. And then I go, don't go in the brush yet. And then I walk over to the brush and I drop a ward so I can see
who's in the
everything
brush,
that's
yeah.
in the brush. And then they proceed to stand in the brush while I take pot shots at them because they never realize that I have a
that
ward
you
there.
warded the brush. Yeah, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
You guys are definitely on a.
And I don't,
different
and no,
level
and,
of
and like
game.
I don't even play the game as much as Charlie does. But and because when I normally play the game, I usually solo mid as Ashe. But every once in a while, I'll pick Ashe, and someone will be like, "Yo, bottom." And now me not knowing that much about the game, it's like, okay, if someone's telling me to take bottom, then they really want mid. So hopefully they're good. So then I'll take
Likely,
bottom.
yeah.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll fall into a pattern where someone's standing in the brush from the other team, and there's a ward right next to them, and they don't know why they're getting hit.
It's like you walk up,
And
shoot 'em,
and they'll walk.
back.
They'll do one of these things because the brush, like on the screen, you say it's about an inch long, inch and a half. I don't know how many pixels that would be, but they'll do one of these things. They'll stand on one side of the brush, they'll get hit, so they'll walk to the other side, like it's gonna change the vision, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah. So that's all been really cool. Like to learn what the hell the lanes are. Now, I have heard people talking about high-end League, and in a lot of ways, your average League player who is playing, let's say in that upper mid or mid level where they understand the metagame. You know, they aren't just like, oh, Teemo's got he's a fuzzy guy. I'm gonna play Teemo. Yeah, I'm a bear. Yeah, they're a one step beyond completely.
Wait, you're Mr.
crazy.
Tibbers?
Tibbers.
The bane of Matt's existence, Tibbers.
So the key would be is that like that people who are that are aware of the game, people who I would say are, if this was StarCraft, these are the people that watch StarCraft. They're people who participate in watching replays, and so that because they watch replays, they probably watch streams, and because they watch streams, they probably give a crap about the high-level competitive scene. In StarCraft, that makes perfect sense. You know, all of those things are true.
I don't care about the comp scene, just the metagame.
Yeah, this is the problem, is that in League, it seems like right now, the top-tier comp scene is not interesting because people have a fairly good understanding of the metagame, so there aren't these dramatic shifts in the metagame as dictated by the top tier. So, to entertain a StarCraft analogy, I am MVP shows up and goes, hey, here's my crazy mech build. And this is the crazy thing I'm going to do against a Protoss. And people go, oh my god, I want to do that every day. That's so cool. And that changes the way people play Terran. Boxer shows up at a tournament with his Slayers boys and says, yo, Blue Flame Hellion, let's do this. You know?
And then that's all the rage.
White
for
Raw's
what, 3
like,
months?
yo, this is how you use a warp prism. And a lot of people see that and it gets communicated to them.
Yep.
The thing is that the top tier League players are still using that metagame that everyone understands. There's no radical shift.
The League is
They're not the trendsetters.
Right.
They're just
right.
people that execute.
The League
Right.
metagame usually seems. I mean, I'm not too deep in the game.
Right. It's
So
very
I can't-
small now. I mean,
but
like clearly, there's not a lot of money, and it's not a big deal.
The metagame kind of as it is as I've seen it is more towards heroes that fall out of favor. Just because they're either too easily countered or not easily enough countered, so teams will end up kind of banning them or banning them. But there doesn't seem to be in the way of StarCraft, because the builds don't seem to be quite as important in League. I mean, because in StarCraft, because you've got so much leverage with all of the different things you can do. In League, you've got, well, I could unlock this skill at 3 instead of 6, and then maybe 4. So it's not.
Yeah, I feel.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I always feel like StarCraft is great because you, like in League, the end of the game is always the end of the game. It's always destroying like the inhibitors and the towers and stuff. Yeah. In StarCraft, the end of the game can come at any moment. The end of the game can come with a pro brush, like if you got good control, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the thing about StarCraft is the whole game you have in your mind when you want to attack, yet being cautious of defending the whole time, and ultimately the confrontation could come at any time, because at any time you or your opponent can force like the confrontation and the game can just end. And in like League, it's like you're perpetually like building and leveling up and choosing your build along the way.
What I would describe that as is that you are forced into a macro game unless you completely fuck up. if everything goes to plan, you are going to play a macro game. If one of your players is a complete feeder who then takes a break to talk to his girlfriend and stays in the base, and your team loses and all your towers get destroyed, yeah, your game's going to last 15 minutes. But if everyone plays conservatively, you're going to get into that macro game. There's no way to really force the rush unless someone is completely bad. Whereas, yeah, sometimes there's DTs in your base. And
yeah, but even in League, it's like if early on, like, you communicate with your team well and you pull off like a team kill and then get some early towers down, there's still gonna be a respawn and other fights while you work your way to the next set of towers, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no you catch them with their pants down, game over. Like,
well,
that has to come really late.
There is, like, what I've experienced and what I kind of see is that, like, once it's a game of inches like anything else, but what Steve was saying too about the countering of the champions and, like, okay, we're banning Shaco, we're banning this, we're banning that because we don't want to deal with those things. We're banning this because we don't have a significant way to counter that. What I feel like that mid tier is not why that mid tier is not as interested in those competitive levels is because being able to put together a team that can function on that level is a very small possibility. You can go and play a game of StarCraft by yourself any day of the week, and you can do a by number build that OGSMC did, and you can feel like you're that person.
Dude, you can use StarCraft overlay and do any number of builds. It will tell you what to build when.
Yeah, you can do that kind of thing. Whereas League, unless it's like, oh, you might take this one champion and practice this idea. So the shifts, what I see is like what that core big audience that's highly dedicated to it wants is they want those top tier guys to say, hey, did you know you could build this guy this way? And you could take a character that you always thought was a support character and turn them into a jungler. So when you get to that picking screen, which I don't even play that, I play blind pick. I'm not even in there. But when you get to that picking screen, you could say, like, why are they picking all these people? They don't even make sense. They don't have a support, and they have, what's going on here? And then when they go out and when they move out to lane, they're like, they have 2 tanks on the bottom, and this is going on. And they got 2 tanks in the middle, and they got where is everybody? What's going on here? And then what it turns out is their support is jungling, and like that's the kind of radical shifts that I think people are hungry for, that your average boxer game will give them, because you've got, like, oh, he's got Reapers and Hellions, and why are they here? And what's going on? Oh my God! It didn't work, but it was genius. Oh, what a great idea!
It'll work next time.
It'll work next time. So like that's what I'm kind of seeing now. Hopefully that's going to change. I'm still, like, as much as I
after this long, I don't know if change is the word that's going to happen to it. Maybe it'll shift a little bit, and the heroes may get a little more.
I only see it possible as being changing is that there is going to be more visibility for video game events thanks to StarCraft, which means more possibility for League of Legends, which means more exposure for top-tier League of Legends players to differentiate themselves with
Valve's going
to
pour so much money into Dota 2 tournaments that League's going to go away anyway.
This is the thing I was going to say about Dota 2 is that looking at the things to buy, I was super intimidated by the number of items that require active use.
Yeah, there are.
And so that's an example of something you can do to the mechanics of League to make it so that there's more variety and potential for more
introduce more active use stuff.
Is that if you like active use stuff is one way and not necessarily like
there's a pair of boots in Dota and by proxy Dota 2 that the active has 3 states. It's like it can be either active as a health boost, like a magic boost, or a speed boost.
Nice.
Awesome.
And it costs a fortune, I bet.
Actually, it's like 600.
That's not bad. That's a value.
If you make items more essential, then you add more variety. Basically the way you get a more complex metagame is through variety, and considering how limited the spell choices is for everybody, like the way you give that variety is through items and something like active use items.
That's kind of the way that Dota 2 shines, because it has that whole series of base items that can be built into other items. I mean, and League has it too, but there seems to be more variety kind of out of the Dota 2 section, where it's like you can buy your boots, and then if you buy like it's like a talisman for health, and then you can combine the two later on with a recipe to give you like boots of health plus like 30 or something like that.
Well, here's kind of like I think where the two divide, and this is what I really want to see like Valve crank on. I want to see Valve
hats.
They want to take. I would actually like to see Valve take Dota a little bit away from the tribute rock band that it's kinda like. It's the best tribute rock band ever.
It's Icebrook, dude.
I mean, they are doing a great job at being authentic to that experience.
Well, I mean, the dude in charge of the project is like one of the dudes.
But one of the dudes
who
who worked,
Dota.
one of the is the guy that balanced Dota. But one of the dudes that created the spirit of Dota works for League.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, the whole Dota team's kind of
they're all
they went Heroes. Someone went to Heroes of Newer. Some went to League of Legends.
Right. So one of the things is that League of Legends is ridiculously accessible for money reasons. Let's say for the reasons that they want this game to appeal to a lot of people, even if it is a ridiculous game that maybe only like.
Yes, but making it free to play. The thing is about, and we've talked about this before, about how this is the sort of game where people might say, "Oh, I don't play video games," but they actually play League of Legends like 20 hours a week, but they don't consider themselves a game player. They play this one game.
They don't consider themselves a hardcore gamer.
It's just this game that they downloaded.
Yeah. And
it's just that I play this game where it's like Magic somehow. Remember when we used to play Magic? Oh yeah, this is a cool game. No, I never did. I'm weird. I'm making a weird hypothesis
never
about
played Magic. Did you play Magic?
No, not really.
Oh, by the way, I do have some news for this week. 5th edition.
Of what? D&D?
That's right, D&D 5th edition.
They already gave up on 4th?
Yep.
And there's an incredible Penny Arcade comic today.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I will check that out.
News.
Bad news. Bad news.
Yeah, no, I said to somebody said something on Facebook about it, and my response was all board games now, because Hasbro basically owns all of it, and that's why we've seen so many.
Hasbro owns Wizards.
Games, from what I understand, so it's all going to be board games.
Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast?
Well, and it's funny. So to the point of the
board games command a lot more.
I have to say
market.
that the Ravenloft game is really fun.
It is well. So
I hear they're writing articles in Business Week about Catan. So, what would you do?
Yeah. The thing is, the funny thing about taking it in a more board game direction is that people that want it to be less board game are already doing that through breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Through taking the base, and that's what the Penny Arcade comic is kind of about, is that you take what you got in the box and you kind of make your
and you
own
just
thing
do what
about
you
it.
want.
And if you're going to do that, then you can do that with a board game or without even buying the board game. Or
what you do is it's really easy. It's really easy.
Well, you go to Board Game Geek and you download the Sex Opera rules.
No. You don't even need that. You get yourself some paper. You get a little screen. Like a little cardboard screen. You can make it maybe. You could set up an old textbook, maybe put that in front of you, and then right before you get what's it called, marijuana. And you smoke a lot of that. And then afterwards, everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, so
we didn't usually smoke a lot of weed when we were playing.
Yeah.
Or screens.
Yeah.
But I used to drink a lot when my buddy wanted to play D&D.
Yeah, you got to get into a fantasy realm.
I would get into a fantasy.
It's called a
realm, right?
it's called a potion.
Yeah.
I wanted to get back to real quickly about one last thought about Dota, because I actually played 2 games of Dota. One I won.
Dota 2.
Dota 2.
What
I was
character?
thinking about playing some Dota 1. But instead I played Knights of the Old Republic, which I won't talk about. Save that.
DC Universe Online.
No, Knights of the Old Republic.
DC Universe Online.
KOTOR. Was the thing that I feel about Dota is that, like, Dota 2, excuse me, is that it's a cool, it's an awesome game. It's really fun. There's a lot of depth to it. You could play it all day. It's great. But I still don't feel like it's a Valve game. I feel like it's Left 4 Dead. I want Left 4 Dead 2. I want the game that Valve would make, where they sit there and they communicate the shit out of stuff. And they don't communicate, like, Valve is really good at communicating stuff, not like...
so you're missing the intro to the game a la Portal, where you basically were lost.
What I want is, think of it more like Half-Life.
Well,
that
even
when you
Half-Life
go in,
was
when you
along
walk
the same
down,
thing, where
you walk down a
learned how to do
hallway.
stuff.
Yeah, you walk down a hallway, and when you walk down that hallway, it's not that you know where you're going; it's that you have these subconscious clues to what you should be doing. Whereas I think the UI in Dota 2 is a fucking shipwreck.
It is a shipwreck, but the problem is I don't know if they can come up with those cues. How would you do those cues in a and that's the thing that would be a differentiation between Half-Life and a game like Dota 2. There's no way that
the
interface needs a ton of work.
In my opinion,
terrible.
There are small buttons, there are big buttons. They're not communicated to what
some of the stuff
hotkeys
doesn't
they work
fit
to.
in the title, so you'll see like 5 characters, but the word is like 13 characters long, and it's just
okay. So in my opinion, like, Dota games have a huge, giant, intimidating barrier to entry, and honestly, the only way you're ever going to get that smooth thing you're talking about, Charlie.
Right now, it's only to the hardcore. That's where they're shopping the game.
If you started a game, like if Dota 2 were a different game than it appears to be, and literally like all of the complexity was all totally fucking locked away based on your level, and you only played other people of your level, and there was no complexity for anybody other than you just hit people, you hit minions, and you hit each other, and the game ended, and you got XP. And you increase levels, and the complexity very gradually unlocked, like way more gradually than the sort of shit that unlocks in League of Legends. Like, the items and everything, all gated, all level gated. You don't even get to fuck with it until you get to a level. And when you get to the level, there's an explanation about what it is you have earned and achieved and unlocked by getting to the level. Like, that is the only way to break down
something like that.
Remind me not to elect Matt as our emperor.
Something like that may be there because there is a.
Otherwise, you're just throwing people in the pool to drown.
Well,
there is a learning section that's coming with the game, and I think that's coming out of the thing that they were trying to do with Half-Life 2. The training, and you can. They were talking about, like, if you go in there and you help someone learn how to play, or you
Team Fortress 2.
Yeah,
Team Fortress 2.
Yeah. The mentor thing. I think that's cool. What I'm reaching for, and seriously, like, what I'm asking for, I could easily see them not doing because they don't want to. Because, like I say, they are the banginest tribute band in the town. They are slamming the, like, they're like, give me the Frost Archer, and they're like, we've got the Frost Archer, and it's like, they're like, I can't even tell that's not Jimmy Page. I've got my panties off already. It's amazing. It's like they want to
Charlie wears panties? Why am I not surprised?
This is all a metaphor.
Is that what happens when you move to New Jersey?
It's a metaphor. Most bands in New Jersey are cover bands.
Whatever, Snooki.
Great white cover bands.
Snooki.
Cover bands. So what I'm saying is, with my cover band analogy.
Cover band where actual band would be nearly free to see. Like, think about a great white cover band. Like,
Well,
So-
nowadays they'd be
Yeah,
free to see.
I'm on the road on my own. But what I'm thinking is that like communicating the shop better, like either A, that's just straight like UI design, like oh yeah,
It's gonna be
we
a
got to make these
combination
buttons better,
of
we got to make
UI.
this stuff work better, or if it's something like, hey, the route this takes is all this shit is green, or all this shit is blue, or all this shit is orange. Like things get color coded. It's like
I like that.
You know,
That's actually a
it's-
good idea.
little design cues that like even if like I think League does it to a certain extent. They have things where it says like it'll be this first tier of weapons, and generally speaking, if you load up any hero and it's got the first weapon on the far left is always like one of two weapons, and that's like, are they AD or are they AP? Do they ability points or are they attack damage geared toward? This is our suggestion, and it's a certain kind of weapon, and that weapon you don't upgrade. You can't upgrade it, and it generally costs about the same amount of money as you start out with. Now you could take that weapon and you'll be set up pretty good, but you ain't going anywhere with it. In fact, you're hurting your economy because right now you're getting a good weapon first, instead of the guy who takes the ward and the boots and the potion, because he's not getting a weapon. He has to depend on his base stats and his ability to stay alive. Now, all that stuff's in Dota. You got to get the boots, you got to get all this, you got to do all that stuff, but it implies, because of its modness, because of its, you figure it out, this is a wide open, free, exciting world. It's very confusing. And I know if I pour as much time as I have a feeling that if I poured as much time into Dota 2 as I've poured into any video game, I'm going to learn what all this crap does. And in fact, the best description I've heard of how you should be learning Dota 2 is to go in against bots, put cheats on, give yourself a ton of money, and then buy the crap out of everything and play around with it. Because what they're saying is, this game is built around you getting money through skillful play.
Yeah.
And then converting that into unique and beneficial builds.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that you mentioned that, cheating may be the best way to do that, because when you play a game that's lasting 45 to 60 minutes, you're not playing around with your build very much.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's when I've been playing against bots, and I've been spending most of my time in Skyrim, so I haven't been playing against bots. But it was always just a shot in the dark, and it was like, well, maybe I should buy this thing that boosts my mana because I want to be able to do my ulti a little sooner on the reload, because my mana's going to recharge that much faster. So it's like, well, okay, I'll buy all of these, and I'll get a 25% buff.
What I describe it as is treating symptoms. You're playing along, you go, God, I'm not doing any damage.
It's like, what can I do to make more damage?
What can I do more
to
damage?
do my ulti
What can I
faster?
afford
Yeah.
that costs what? All right, I have this much. I have X money. I'm going to buy something that is right now my problem. Where we all know that like great strategy involves you buying shit for like 10 minutes later. 10 minutes later, you are thrashing people because you bought the boots of ridiculousness. Whereas right now, you want the shield of make me win now thing. And these games aren't built that way. So I have faith that Valve can figure this out, but I mean, like, I want them to get a little bit faster.
I have to say it's right now it is marketed to the hardcore. It's still not open beta. The invites are out there, but they're not coming quite as fast and free as you would think to any other game. So I think whatever they're thinking, because the whole studio's kind of in on it, and they love this game supposedly, so they're gonna The big brains are going to sit down and be like, how can we make this more accessible?
Yeah.
How can we convert the Team Fortress masses onto this game?
Well, I don't even know if.
Yeah, they may not actually try and convert them, but
yeah, they
I'm just
haven't
saying,
really
but they
communicated what they like. It seems like Valve. This is a huge turn for them. We all see this as being a huge turn. Like everything else they've ever done has been awesome first-person shooting, and now they're doing this weirdo action RPG game that, in one sense, fits completely in with their line of thinking. Is let's take community mods and turn them into AAA quality games, which is kind of what they've done with all their games. But
then I have to admit that even for the game being in as early a stage as it is, it feels really polished. I mean, there are some things that are hurting interface wise.
Yeah,
but
the creeps creep, the towers tower, all that stuff works. It is not. I don't think there's any problem with that, which kind of also leads me to the belief that that it's really just them going and looking at the digging below the surface of the game, because you could sit someone down there and say, okay, right click to do this, left click to do that, hit the button. They'll do their thing. They walk along.
Oh, I don't even want to know how much data they're gathering from each one of our play sessions.
Yeah, and
it's got to be astronomical.
I mean, they will just boil that down, but the key is that they need to communicate that what I feel is the core of any of those Dota games is where you spend your money, how you spend your money, and does that work? Because I don't think the courier actually works. I think that
the flying courier is dope though.
Conceptual, sending 5 donkeys into someone's base and then spreading them out through the map for extra vision.
By the way, 5 donkeys, you're losing 10 and you win.
Yeah,
but I'm actually gonna call it, because the time is creeping ever onward. So Dota 2, 2012 Game of the Year.
If it's released in 2012.
Agreed.
It's supposed to be, which means December 31st, 2012.
Sounds good. So,
do we have any actual news?
No, we don't.
I mean, if you have anything else you want to say, I don't mean to derail you off.
I was just talking about. I'm really trying to wrap my head around why I can enjoy League, but why
I think what it comes down to is basically what we touched on, is that it's not quite there polish wise, gameplay wise. Like, you can see it and you can recognize it, because you're like, you know what Dota is, you know what League of Legends is, so you can recognize the gameplay. But then when you sit down and play it, you're like, ooh, this isn't quite, like, it doesn't feel good sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that's just polish. Like,
double tap F1.
They'll kind of come back and hopefully touch on all of that,
because that's what I think
they go to release.
I think of Valve's forte is polish, beta test, whatever they do.
Yeah, and you have to like the game that, as Dota 2 as it is, like, just because you have it, you do have to remember that we kind of ended up on a beta test kind of as a fluke.
Right.
So, and that's kind of why you're seeing it in the state that it's in right now.
Right.
So
it's just I'm interested to see the what they're going to do with it from.
Yeah, it'll be nice to kind of watch it progress further.
So yeah, that's it. Like I said, we don't really have news, guys. So unless our main news topic was SOPA, we don't like it, right? Universal,
nope.
Don't like
it.
No,
we don't support.
You know
SOPA.
what else we don't like? Everything. That's right. Don't like
Hate
it. Hate it all. So that was it. There. I can't. What was the other thing that I remember?
We're also on YouTube. 25-cent play.
Yes.
YouTube/user.
If you want to watch this again, We got to think of some like song and dance routine we can do so people want to watch this crap.
No, we just put it up there and then people watch it. That's how the internet works.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, you're right. Number 2, if you want to hear
Charlie
this,
will also do number 2, so you watch it.
Yeah, no, I won't do that.
That's not on YouTube though, because YouTube won't play that. That's on that other website that we can't name for legal reasons, but you know where it is.
You can search for that. Don't look for it.
Don't Google it though, because you may find some Santorum
Safety search on. Yeah. So yeah, and then we're on the Twitch Justin TV,
which is where we're at right now.
Yeah, we've been doing the live streaming, so come and check us out. Jump in the chat room, ask some crazy questions, or get into a flame war. Sometimes we got our Goonbot in the chat, and he's an admin. He will ban you.
I think Goombot may have gone to sleep.
Okay. Well, he's on the East Coast time. But watch out, because he totally banned you.
If you catch him early in the night.
You catch him early. Oh, you get the ban hammer laid on you. Number 2, we got a website. These are all number 2s. Number 2 across
Charlie
the board.
loves the number 2s.
We got a website. What's on our website? All sorts of cool stuff.
What'd you do to my cat?
Mostly it's a central hub where you can get our RSS feed. If you are of the not using the iTunes variety, you can get a direct download link to our podcast. It's awesome, and that's at 25centplay.com. That's where we do it.
That is, and you can send us an email at podcast@25centplay.com. Matt, has anyone sent us an email tonight?
Nope.
Did you check?
Okay. Well, also we're on the Twitter. Check us out there. That'll inform you when we start streaming, I believe.
Normally, it will say when we start streaming and when the podcast is up, and occasionally we'll say some other random gibberish.
Yeah. Another great thing is
number 2.
The number 2, B, is the Facebook. On the Facebook, you will.
We don't really update that because
I've been updating it.
Oh, okay. So Charlie's been updating.
So that's a good place to go if you want to. Know when our podcast comes out, because I make a special effort to put that up there. So if you want to use that as your RSS feed reader,
apparently
that's a good way to go.
Apparently I should add Charlie as an admin to the Google Plus page too.
No one uses Google Plus, man.
There's like
I think
six, six people.
It's Gary Whitta, and that's it.
Actually, I don't think Gary Whitta posts anymore. I actually stopped checking Google Plus because it was all Gary Whitta all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Gary Whitta, I have nothing against you.
That,
but
and there's
Jesus
a
Christ.
really dope graphic designer I follow, and I don't even know his name, but he makes great pictures. That's it. That's all I got for Google Plus.
I don't even need to follow a graphic designer. I just open Tumblr.
And
and pictures flow.
Yep.
The last and most wonderfulest thing out there is the iTunes, because on the iTunes you can subscribe to us. You can leave us a review.
Definitely leave a review.
Yes.
Speaking of reviews, I do need to know, and not to derail you, Charlie, how does everyone feel about the Dark Rain?
Black IPA.
Yeah.
It's strong to style.
Yeah.
It's what but all right, I'm gonna say, Bridgeport, I've tasted your hops. I taste your hops. These are the same hops that you put in Hopsar. These are the same hops you put in the
That's right.
in the IPA. If you want to change it up, you got to switch the hops.
So you're saying
They're just
literally
changing the malt.
Literally,
Yeah.
the only change is the roasted malt.
Yes. I agree. Charlie is right.
It's good. It's still a
couldn't
decent beer. It's probably better than most of the beers you're drinking. And if you weren't in Portland,
Well, the people who are not in Portland aren't drinking beers this good.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So I'm spoiled. That's what I'm saying. Anything else? Anything else we got on
No,
there?
I think,
to reiterate, if you were in the sound of my voice, you should consider buying Cube for $12 on Steam.
Get in your lane,
Sound good?
bastards.